Welcome back, listeners, to the Uniquely Wired podcast. I'm your host, Anani, and I am so excited to be back to start a new season. I cannot believe we are kicking off season 4 of the podcast, y'all. Like, it's just mind blowing to me because we are about to hit our 2 year anniversary as a podcast. Can y'all believe that? Like, that's crazy to even think about. But I am so, I mean, blessed, thankful. I am just all the good things above y'all because I could not have done this, number one, without God. I mean, my relationship with God, my faith has just kept me grounded and rooted. And I'm grateful for that. I couldn't have done it with my amazing husband who's behind all this tech stuff. Um, Obviously, my kids are like my number one motivation to even starting this podcast. And last but not least, you guys for listening, for tuning in, for your reviews, for, your comments, your support. I just can't do it, if you guys are not in the picture. So thank you so much. Um, and you guys know that usually when I start a new season, I like to pretty much reintroduce myself, especially for those that are new here. So again, like I said, my name is Nani. Well, technically it's Jormari, okay, Jormari, but I'm better known as Nani. It's just much easier for people to like pronounce it. So yeah, I'm Nani. I am an autism mother of two children, ages 8 and 5, girl and boy. My girl is 8 and my boy is 5. And this summer will be their birthdays, so they'll be a year older. um, and let me see. I am of course, a woman of faith. I stand strong in my faith with God. I love encouraging other families like myself, um, to just keep moving forward and know that there is hope on the other side, that this is not the end. Um, and I am also um, an ADHD woman. I was diagnosed last year. So if you listen to any of the episodes last season of the podcast, I spoke a lot about ADHD and just my process and my diagnosis and the signs and things like that, and why I went about getting a diagnosis. So I'm very proud of myself on how far I've come with that. And y'all, listen, I'm still adjusting. I'm still making accommodations for myself that were not given to me when I was a child. And that's something that it's crazy. I was talking to my best friend about, because she also has ADHD and she was also diagnosed literally at the end of 2024. And you guys are going to be seeing her on the podcast. She was on the podcast last season, but y'all going to see her at least 2 to 3 times on this season. Um, but I was telling her, I'm like, it's crazy how now we are making accommodations for ourselves having ADHD, like understanding what works best for us, what was not given to us as children. Because here's the thing, when you are diagnosed as a child, you know, you start getting used to your accommodations because you either have an IEP or a 504 plan, right? So you already kind of have an idea, okay, these are the accommodations that I need. You start a new job, your job can go based on that plan, right? That you have already written. But for those of us that are getting diagnosed at an older age, listen, it's hard. It's hard because people are just going to look at you like, "What? What do you mean you have ADHD? What do you mean you're autistic?" right? Um and it sucks, but that's just the world we live in. That's society, right? But I just want to say there's nothing wrong with making accommodations for yourself. And we eventually going to dive more into that. But in this new season, this first episode of the season, I'm going to talk about, some life updates and what's ahead, and what you can expect on this um podcast season that we are starting and kicking off. And you guys are going to notice, y'all, I don't know why, like I'm literally so annoyed by my hair. Like it just keeps falling off and it's so like annoying. There's just like hair everywhere. Sorry, distracted. Okay. That's part of my ADHD, by the way. Um, But yeah, so I just want to back on track, y'all, back on track. I just want to express, my excitement for just this new season. And y'all, we're gonna have some awesome, awesome people as guest speakers on this podcast this season specifically. And I've already lined them up. I already have the topics lined up. So listen, y'all girl has been working a lot, okay? I have been working. Look at me, I can't even speak because I'm so excited. I have been working tirelessly to make sure I'm getting my topics down. And as soon as like I feel like God is dropping something in my heart, I'm like, okay, I need to write this down because at some point I'm going to talk about it. And I think this season might be a little longer than the last three. So listen, y'all are in for a treat. Okay, we're going to work hard. We're going to go hard. We are coming in hot. Okay. So let me just give y'all a few updates because y'all, first of all, if y'all follow me on my personal page, not my podcast Instagram, because I only share podcast stuff on there, but my personal page, Mom of Awesome Siblings. If y'all don't follow it, I'm gonna leave it down in the description below. You guys, that's where literally I post. I have been trying to stay up with content daily. So y'all go on there, y'all can see a little bit more about the kids' growth and just some updates and some great things that are going on. So let's start with Eliana, y'all, because let me tell you, this girl is growing, thriving. She is shining like a star out there. Okay. I am just beyond proud of her. So, you guys know, well, if you're new, then you don't know, but I had to take my daughter out of public school, and thank God for opening that door for us, for her to start at a charter school this school year. So she has been doing amazing. The teacher is wonderful. The team is amazing. So, y'all, I still have no complaints about the school. Okay. And we're coming to the end of the school year very, very soon. But thus far, things are still the same, better. I feel like every single time it just keeps getting better and she's doing wonderful things. So, anyways, by the way, I talk a lot with my hands if y'all watching on YouTube. So yeah. Um, but yeah, so she's doing wonderful. But yeah, wait, because this is the big news I had to share with y'all. And I have been so eager to just put this on the podcast. But my girl, okay, my girl started dance. What? She started dance. Now, for those of you that are listening and you follow my page, of course you know. But if you don't follow me, then you don't know this, right? So I'm still going to share it and I'm still hype, okay? As if it's the first day or if it was the first day. I am just so like amazed, you guys, at how quick she adapted to, this dance school. And we go once a week after school hours. So I think it's from 6:30 to 7:30 on Tuesday nights right now, because I think in the summer the schedule's going to be different. I think it's going to be Monday evenings instead of Tuesday evenings. So, but right now it's Tuesday evenings. But let me just share a little bit, a little background, which actually I have not shared this. Well, I shared a little bit on my personal page. I think on like the caption of one of the videos of her dancing. Um, but I had taken her first to this like very known and big dance school. And um I'm trying to see how I'm going to say this to where it's not offensive to anybody that's listening, because that's not the goal. But I'm really just trying to express myself and really how I felt in the moment, because I was pretty upset. I was pretty upset. I was frustrated. I was sad. Um Part of me was jealous as well, but I took her to this place, right? And the first class was free because it was more like a tryout class. And so she went, she was loving it. Y'all, first of all, her first time going to a dance school, and she stands right next to the teacher and she is doing all the movements. She's following the teacher, everything the teacher is doing. I mean, she just fit right in the class, right? Now, obviously, once they done with the warm up, Eliana starts getting a little antsy. And so first of all, it's all new to her. So now she's like wondering, okay, what's next? So of course she starts doing lots of very loud vocal stems. She's running around the room. The other girls are just staring at her. And I couldn't be inside the classroom. So they had like a monitor in the waiting room. So I was there and I was watching her from there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's doing amazing. I'm like, wow, this might actually be her outlet. This might be like her sensory input place. This might be what she needs. And first of all, I was a little confused because from the moment I walked in there, like somebody said hi to me, but like pretty much they thought I was already part of the school. So they didn't even know that I was coming in for the first time because her trial class got rescheduled because of a snowstorm that had happened that specific day she was supposed to go. So nobody told the front desk lady. So I walk in there and I kid you guys not, maybe like 5 minutes before the class was scheduled to start, I'm like, hey, so I'm here for my daughter's free trial. And she's like, oh my gosh, I have no idea. I had no idea you guys were supposed to come. Okay. So miscommunication, which is cool. We forgive that. But you guys, where I'm trying to get is fast forward. The reason I took her out of that dance class and we didn't go back. Where she's at now, it's somewhere else, and I will explain more. But you guys, I could just sense the tension. I could just sense like the mean girl vibes from the moms like that I was getting. And I get it because I kept like somebody kept telling me like, listen, that is just how it is in the dance world. Like the dance schools, like a lot of moms tend to be very mean because their daughters do it better than anybody else's, right? And so I don't go in there competition mindset. I don't go in there thinking, oh, my daughter is going to be better than anybody, right? Although I know my daughter's great, right? But I don't go in there with that mentality. I'm like, my daughter wins, you win. You guys are in a team. So I just started feeling just like a disconnection. I felt pretty isolated and left out because again, this dance school specifically, a lot of the girls that are in there, they all know each other since they were little, right? So Eliana's new. She's like pretty much the black sheep, and I was just not getting a good feeling. I don't know. I was just not comfortable. And I was like, I am not putting my daughter in this position. I'm just not because I'm not putting myself in it. So I'm not going to let her, be in that mess. And you could just tell it's just gossip and drama. So, y'all, I pulled her out. I remember calling my best friend and I was just on the phone with her and I was just so sad and I was just crying. I was like, maybe this is just not it. And she just kept on encouraging me and pushing me, like, no, don't give up. We're going to find something for my niece. Like, I just love you, Christine, because she's probably listening to this. But, anyways, um, and I was like, you're right, y'all. So I came home that same night after that free trial, okay? And I was not playing. I went on my phone. Then I was like, you know what? The phone is not helping. Let me get on my laptop. Opened up my MacBook, went ahead, went on Google, started searching. Y'all, I found a dance school. I kid you guys not. 9 minutes from my house. 9 minutes. Okay. That's it. 9 minutes. And this is something else that blew my mind. I'm on their website and I see that they offer a special needs class. So they offer a dance class for special needs children slash adults. I'm like, what? So I called just to make sure what type of class is it. The teacher, the instructor, she's like, hey, and she's also the owner. She says, so that class specifically is more hip hop. However, Eliana in the first dance school that I was just telling you guys about, that was more of a lyrical slash contemporary. And I can tell that that's really what she liked. She was just really in her element. And I was like, I don't know that hip hop is really going to be the thing, right? Listen, I don't know. Maybe in the long run, in the future, she'll surprise me. But I could just tell that like the slower dance and the music was just better for her, especially considering that she still has some struggles with certain motor skills and movements. So I was like, all right, we'll just do this. So then she's like, no, we do have a class. It's contemporary. It's not so much lyrical focus, but it is contemporary, which is very similar to lyrical. And I was like, okay, listen, I'm still learning about this whole dance world. Okay. So don't laugh at me. Okay. Because I still can't say all these movements and all the names. It is on Eliana's AAC though. I will say that. But yeah, so she's like, no, we would love to have your daughter. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So you guys, from the moment I walked in there, I just felt such peace, just such peace. And Miss Cameron, shout out to her from Reverie Dance Company. You guys, she is just the sweetest person inside out. You can tell she has the passion. She loves what she's doing. And she just includes Eliana in everything. So y'all not gonna believe it. My girl is having her first recital in June. Eliana is having her first recital in June. Y'all, if y'all would have asked me last season if this would even happen, I don't even know what my answer would have been. Because seriously, I'm like, what? And I told her, I said, listen, I understand that like Eliana can do like every single like choreography that you guys have going on. She's like, I don't care. She was like, I don't care. I want Eliana to be part of this. I don't care if she's just running in stage or making noise, making her vocal stems. I don't care. I want her to be part of it. And that to me, guys, like it legit just melted my entire heart. Like I could not, like I had no words. I just kept on telling her, like I kept on, you know, I guess you could say making excuses. Like, I'm just like, listen, I just don't want her to be a disruption. I don't want her to be a distraction. I don't want her to mess up anything you guys have already planned prior to her arriving to the dance school. And she's like, nope, listen, take that off your head, mom. She's fine. She's going to do great. And y'all, when I tell you she has been killing it, okay, every single week, I feel like she's just getting better and better. And she's already crushing the what is it? She already crushes the warm-ups. She crushes it. And I have a couple clips on my personal Instagram. So that's why I said if you don't follow it, go check it out. But I wanted to share a little bit of that background story with you guys because it was definitely interesting. But I'm so happy that I did not give up on finding a dance school that I know could be a good fit for my daughter. And now she's crushing it. The girls love her. I mean, that is the sweetest part too for me because they literally like always rooting for Eliana. And if she does like a move, they're just like the sweetest. They're like, good job, Ellie. You're doing so good. And if Eliana's having like a hard time or she gets overstimulated and starts shutting down and having a hard time, they come over to her, they start soothing her, and just finding ways to just like include her. And that to me, y'all, is everything. So I'm just happy that my girl is in the placement that she's in and she's happy. And I could just see it in her face. Like when I'm like, all right, Ellie, it's dance time. Let's get ready. Let's put our leotards on. Let's go. Y'all, her leotard collection, by the way, it's growing, okay? Because I think I'm gonna just keep going crazy with it because they're so cute. Okay. How could you not buy any? Like, they're so cute. Um, but yeah, so she's doing awesome and she just gets so excited when I'm like, Ellie, let's go. We're gonna go dance. Um, it's dance class and she just starts like she gets so excited and so giggly. Excuse me. So she's loving that. I feel like that's like the biggest update I have for you guys about Eliana. Now, for Jacob, the biggest update I have for y'all is number one, he's been crushing homeschooling. He's doing great. He already knows his entire morning routine. Um, Jacob is definitely, I would say, a very routine kid. I feel like if he's not in his regular routine, like he has a little bit of more of a hard time than Eliana does. I feel like Ellie is much easier to adjust than Jacob. And I'm noticing that actually even more now the older he's getting. He's very specific. Like let's just say I leave my um like my purse in the car and I'm going inside and I'm grabbing him. He starts getting very like irritated and upset and he starts crying and I'm like, what is going on? He just wants me to grab my bag. Like whatever I came out the house with has to come back home with me. Especially if it normally does come back home with me. So that has been an adjustment. So I'm still trying to figure that out. These are things that, just comes the older they get. I feel like we're learning something new every year about our children, really every day. But when they hit a new year, a new milestone, um, I feel like new things just begin to happen, right? And you start noticing things. But he's doing wonderful, still getting his services at home. But here's the big news, y'all. He got into my daughter's school. Now, y'all know I was praying so hard, okay? One, my God, do it, y'all. and he got into his sister's school. So, come the new school year, Jacob and his sister will be in the same school. And I am so excited about that. I am getting ready to schedule his reevaluation for the IEP, just to update his IEP, make sure everything is good. Um, so that way, once he starts the new school, everything is up to date and he's getting what he needs. Now, there is something that I didn't get to share with you guys because it literally just happened. But his speech therapist suspects that Jacob might have childhood apraxia speech. Um, which honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and try to explain it to y'all completely. Because I feel like I'm still learning about it. But it's pretty much like when you can't like when there's let me see, when there's like inconsistency in sounds, um when your vowels are different than that of someone that can actually say it. It's something around those lines. If you don't know what it is, please look it up. Childhood apraxia speech, because it's different than adult apraxia, or there's like something else, it's called something else. But anyways, just look it up, educate yourself. That's your homework. um but yeah, so I'm still learning about it. So his speech is still like evaluating him and just making sure she's getting enough. Um, I guess she's documenting enough of it just to make sure it is the right diagnosis. So it's not definite just yet. She just suspects it might be. So we're trying to make sure we get that down packed before he starts, the new school, because that'll have to be on his IEP. If he does have that. You know, what is it? Diagnosis? Yeah, I guess it's a diagnosis. It's not considered a medical diagnosis though. That's what his speech therapist told me. But anyways, I don't want this episode to be super long, but yeah, so that's that with Jacob now, which I'm very excited, y'all. And he's most likely going to start in the summer, like Eliana did. You guys know when she got into the school, they ended up offering her the ESY program, so she was able to start in June for their extended school year program all the way to July, and then they get a few weeks off before the actual school year starts. So I'm pretty sure and positive that it'll be the same thing for him, but I'll have to see because he'll be kindergarten. So I don't know if there's like a difference for that. But yeah, and of course, I'll keep you guys posted on that. Um, but he's doing wonderful. Still got to work on potty training. That's something I really want to focus on this coming spring. So hopefully, we can work on that and we can get that done. And what else? Something else with the kids is they have to get blood work and a bone age x-ray. Eliana is starting, like, her breast is starting to, show and grow. um if there's guys listening, I'm sorry, but this is just the reality. But yeah, her breasts are starting to grow. And so, pretty much is considered to be a little premature because she's 8. She's 8.5. She'll be 9. But when the breasts start to grow, then other things start to grow, such as hair in particular areas. And that also means, monthly friend will be coming, right? The period, the menstrual, however you want to word it. But you know what I'm talking about. So I'm a little like, I'm gonna have a mom on the podcast this season that her daughter actually got the menstrual, and she's going to share a little bit about those strategies and tips. And I know I had someone prior, but this mom that I'm bringing on, her daughter is literally close to my daughter's age. So I feel like, we can relate on a lot of things, and our daughters are very similar. So I'm excited to have her on. She's awesome. She's a beautiful person inside out, and I know she's going to bring some great strategies and tips for those moms that might be struggling with that, puberty, periods, and just all the hormonal changes that happen in our girls. Um especially when they're non-speaking and how challenging it can be. So I'm very excited for that episode actually. But yeah, so she has to get a bone age x-ray for that because the doctor wants to make sure that they are growing appropriately to her age, her weight, her height, and nothing is growing too out of proportion. However, I'm not going to do any medicine, I'm not going to do anything, any shots, nothing to prevent anything from growing or coming. I'm just going to let her body do what it needs to do naturally, because I do believe things like that can cause issues, in the long run. When you have these doctors experimenting on our children, I'm just not doing that. I'm not doing that. I feel like a lot of doctors, I'm not saying all doctors, but I feel like a lot of doctors, a lot of hospitals, um, take advantage of our children that have special needs, and it sucks. So we have to be their voice. And I'm not going to sit here and allow people to do anything to my daughter that I don't consent to. Um, Especially when she's still a minor, she can't make decisions for herself, that big of decisions anyways. She doesn't really understand. She doesn't comprehend, okay, what the heck is going on. Um so yeah, and then with Jacob, they just want to make sure his height is good for his age. I told them, listen, my mother-in-law is 4'11, I'm 5'1. Like, there's not a lot of tall families. There's not a lot of tall people in my family. I just said that backwards. There's not a lot of tall people in my families. So I'm just like, I'm not expecting my son to be this giant. I'm really not. So yeah, I have to eventually schedule that. Actually thinking about it and talking about it, I have to hurry up and do that. But yeah, you guys, I'm trying to think of anything else. Okay, I was going to share just some of the topics with you guys that we are going to be talking about this season on the podcast. So let me get those so I can share those with you guys. Well, this one episode I am ecstatic about because, of course, y'all, I'm finally going to get my husband on the podcast this season. Okay. And if y'all know my husband, then you know this is a big deal. Okay. Because he is not a camera guy at all. But I'm so proud of him. He's doing this with me, y'all. Okay. We're going to talk about marriage and autism parenting and just how to maintain, a strong marriage while raising autistic children and be a neurodivergent yourself, because you guys know I've mentioned this before. My husband is self-diagnosed autistic. I don't know why I'm like this the entire time. I am so sorry. I feel like ugh. For those that are watching anyways, but I was just like chilling on my couch. But yeah, my husband is pretty much self-diagnosed autistic, and you guys know, obviously, my ADHD diagnosis. So it's a lot that goes into it, into our marriage. So I'm excited to dive deep into that topic. We are also going to have a very special guest where we're going to talk about unpacking ABA. We're going to unpack ABA, and anything that you need to know about ABA, and it's going to be straight from a BCBA's perspective. He's awesome. He's very known on Instagram as well, Jonathan. So I'm very excited to have him. He has confirmed our interview together, so I'm excited about that. Another episode that I'm going to do, which I'm going to do with my bestie, is going to be motherhood when reality doesn't match expectations. Y'all, I know that episode we're both going to be crying. Y'all are going to be crying, I promise you. And so yeah, that's just some of the episodes, y'all, by the way. So if y'all watching on YouTube, I'm showing y'all, like, I have a list on my Google Doc of episodes that I want to cover this season for you guys. So, oh man, y'all, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this season. So be ready, y'all, because like I said, and I'm going to say it again, y'all are in for a treat. And yeah, you guys, I'm trying to think of anything else. Um, oh, I have started a job as a behavioral assistant remotely. Um, and I was only with them for like not even a full month. I want to say a month or almost a month. But I had to let it go. Nothing personal. I just, I needed something more consistent. Um, and so I just, I had to take a step back from that position. So that was something that happened pretty quick in my life that I figured I'll just share with you guys and throw it in here. Um, Definitely very grateful for that opportunity, and I wish I would have continued doing it. But it wasn't like a consistent thing. It was more like as an as needed position. So I feel like in the season that I'm in, I am looking for something, more consistent aside from being my kid's caregiver. Um, as many of you know, I work for my kids. I work through an agency that pays me to watch my children and care for them. Um, so yeah, but nonetheless, I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And the the owner, the lady that was helping me with the agency, super sweet. Um, so I'm definitely grateful for them. And even the little bit of training that I was able to get, I learned a lot from it. So I feel like either way, like I still got something out of it, even though it was just for such a short amount of time. Um, but right now, my focus is obviously the podcast, the ministry that I have online for special needs moms, which is faith based. Those of you that are listening, maybe you're looking for that faith based community, for it to be online. We meet every other Friday and we just fellowship. We do read the word of God. I bring a short, encouraging word for you ladies to uplift you and encourage you. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that. I'm also, trying to see how I can network more this year, trying to put myself more out there, focusing more on creating more content, as well. And I still do my presentation for churches, but also I am starting to speak at like schools and things like that. So I have a contract with this Head Start program here in Philly. And so she wants me to come and speak once a month, to either the teachers, the parents, students, pretty much just educating them on the topic of autism, or she'll give me a topic that she really wants me to bring forth and talk about. And it is a bilingual environment. So you know, I'll have to use my bilingual skills then, but I am so thankful, you guys. Just so many things going on and that are going to be coming. So I'm just very, very excited for what this season holds, not just of the podcast, but just like in general in my life. So, and yeah, I just celebrated my birthday last month, February, y'all. February 13th was my birthday. I celebrated 31 years of life. Thank you, Jesus. And y'all, my girls, the girls from the ministry that you know I run online, the ladies in my team, they literally outdid themselves. I mean, they did more than they should have, really. They put a video together for me from some of the moms that are part of the ministry. They blessed me with like my spot day. I had the spot day schedule and I get there. My best friend is like, surprise, we got you. We collect the money, girl. So we're treating you. I was like, what? So y'all, they went out there, okay? Like they outdid themselves. And I never had someone do such thing for me. So that was super sweet of them. Um, so yeah, I had a wonderful birthday. Really, really did. But anyways, I'm not going to keep you any longer because at this point I feel like I'm rambling. I wanted to come on here really quick and just give you guys the update and welcome you guys to a new season. I'm so excited. And I hope you are too. So don't forget to share the podcast and also leave your review, whether you're listening to Spotify, whether you're listening on Spotify. Look, I can't even speak today. Whether you're listening on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, please leave your review. It really helps to get the podcast out there. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next episode.